What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Power Hour on Tuesday, right? The 11th? Is it the 11th?
Where'd he go?
Where'd who go?
Quinn.
There he is. I'm Matt Seidel, Max Solo next to me, EB below me, and Quinn playing a little behind the scenes, in front of the scenes today. Guys, let's get to our national day and let's get rolling because I know we got a busy day of sports going here. So today's national day is National Foam Rolling Day. We kind of talked about it a little bit in the pre-show, but how important is foam rolling to you guys? And have you ever foam rolled? Do you have a foam roller? Or what's your favorite type of recovery after a workout?
Sido, these are some very personal questions I do not feel comfortable answering.
Well, then we'll start with Mac.
I use them. We use them every day at Max. So a lot of baseball pitchers are stretching out. They're using J bands. They're foam rolling themselves out to start. Even on some recovery stuff. We talked a little bit about the Theragun, the massage gun. Every day it's such a lifesaver. After throwing pitches to hitters, and I'm tight, I'm sore, especially my landing leg, my left leg. So I'm out there rolling it out and putting a lot of weight on it, and I mean a lot of weight on it. So it's a lifesaver. It really is.
Yeah. What about you guys down at the bottom there? Basketball, you guys using the foam rollers too?
I guess I'll talk so you get more than a head shake from Quinn. I never
always appreciated.
I never really used one, but it kind of came after my time. I guess it's one of those things. Later in the 2000s, 2010 is, I feel like, when they started to really come out. Once you saw some of these other guys use them, in basketball at least, like Dwayne Wade, LeBron, all them. I know a lot of my players use them, and it's kind of nifty, the different contraptions that they have, like the ones that fit around your whole leg or fit around. I know a lot of our players are using them all the time, especially when it comes to the beginning of the year, and you're not, your legs or your body just isn't really in basketball, and I'm gonna assume a lot of football players do too. Especially at that first day of hitting. People don't realize, after that first day of hitting, how bad your arms and shoulders hurt just because you haven't done it in a while. I think they're great.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. We use them a ton for recovery with our football players. I got to kind of tip my cap. My strength coach, Dalton Smith, does a great job of making sure that our guys recover. And, we do everything from foam rolling to the Theragun things. We even do, a lot of things with ice baths after practice, just anything to kind of aid in that recovery process. No, Mac? No ice baths?
You ain't getting my ass in no damn ice bath. Ain't no chance in hell.
4 minutes. That's it. 4 minutes.
Zero chance.
So, Quinn, do you have any thoughts, or are you just going to smile and nod your head?
A little of both. The internet's terrible. I'm trying to figure out the internet. Like Eric said, it was kind of after his time, but it was right when I was playing. The foam roller kind of started, and I don't work out, so I don't use it personally. But at Ysn, we have the Theragun, we have rollers, we have bands. We're pretty big in with bands and rollers. They have all these kind of rollers. They have the regular ones. They have ones that have little nubs or spikes or something. I don't know. I don't know what they are. But they seem to love them. And listen, if you're playing and you're healthy, that's all that I care about. Do what you want to do.
No, for sure. So next thing that we've got to get to, and it was huge yesterday. I saw it blow up all over social media. And, I know I'm really excited about it personally. We got to meet our first 10 softball players for the All-YSN team yesterday. And today we're going to continue that trend and meet 10 more. We're going to meet 10 each day this week for the softball. And then next week we'll start the baseball, and we'll meet 10 a day next week. So if you do some quick math, that tells you that there's 50 girls and 50 guys that are going to make the All-YSN team. Letters are going out, and there will be a game. I don't know if you guys heard any more details on the game yet.
Hey, do you think DJ's handwriting these letters?
I was
I
more
hope
interested
so.
in the game. I heard there might be like some fun coaching.
I hope he's doing it with
Hey.
like one of those old style quill pens. like the old inkwell right there, dipping it in.
Dear so and so, welcome
Ah,
to
it-
the show.
dude, it'd be like the Jimmy Fallon thank you letters. I can see Brian or Quinn over there with the piano.
I think so. On the introduction video, Quinn, didn't you throw on a suit and that's your hand on the dry erase board?
Oh yeah, sure.
I thought, yeah. So anyway, without any further ado, let's meet the next 10 players for today. So there you go. With 10 more today, that brings us up to 20 now announced. 10 more coming tomorrow, Thursday and Friday, and that'll round out the teams. Look forward really to seeing some of these players out there on the softball diamond with each other and against each other. Big things in the works for the YSN All-Star game.
Two things.
Yeah.
That hand is not very steady, so whoever that is, they need to work on that, and they need to take care of whatever's going on with the wrist, because that's some massive arm hair. And did we misspell Gerard and spell it Gerard?
I saw that too. I don't know.
Which is so I'm just going to start calling him
left-handed.
Gerard. So
If we did, we'll get that fixed and we'll make sure that it's right. But for everybody that's watching out there, please make sure you like that and share it when the announcements come out on social media. And feel free to drop congratulations to your favorite player that made the team. Guys, how excited are you for this All-Star game, both the baseball and the softball? I know, Mac, you've got to be geeking out over it as our resident baseball guy, right?
I'm stoked about it. I mean, I think it's just a cool thing, and I like cool stuff. I think we all do, but to actually have a game, and I don't know how we're doing all that just yet, but I know I've been in a couple conversations with it, but I think it's going to be pretty neat. I mean, we're pretty loaded, and we're pretty, especially on the girls' side. I mean, the boys too, but the girls' side to me there's a lot of talent. There's a lot of college players that are going to go, or a lot of high school players that are going to go to the college level the next year or two. And I think it'll be exciting. I think it'll be entertaining. I think it'll be a great game. I think it'll be a lot of fun. So I think all those ingredients combined is a success for us. So kudos to them, and kudos to DJ and YSN for putting it together.
Definitely a tip of the cap to DJ for getting this whole thing together. And there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes and goes into it, not only just making the graphics that you see and everything, but trying to make sure that every team gets represented and that we get the appropriate people onto the appropriate teams, and making sure that all the information gets out to the athletic directors, the coaches, and obviously the players and their families as well. Topics for today. I know it's been a kind of a crazy day in the world of sports. You had Russell Westbrook breaking the all-time triple-double record, right? Didn't that happen last night? But I think the one that Billy's most interested in talking about is Tim Tebow, supposedly going to be signing with the Jacksonville Jaguars to play tight end. How many years has it been now since he was last in the NFL?
2012.
It was 12, okay. And, we're talking about a guy that, love him or hate him, he does have a playoff win as a quarterback with Denver back in the day. Mac, I'm not going to start with you. We're going to start with EB on this one because I want somebody else's take. I've kind of heard yours already.
All I'm going to say is Tim Tebow beat the Steelers in the playoffs before the Browns ever did. So it's a little Tebow time. I mean, I don't know how to feel about it. It's one of those. It's a reach. Like if it pans out because he's back with Urban and they can, kind of do some things cool, but I really don't see like I don't see him coming out and like being the second coming of Gronk in his prime.
Right.
It might just be more of a, hey, I always felt you should have been in the league. Here you go. Now that I'm here, let's rekindle the flame and see if we can do something. I mean, I guess if some of these other guys, like older guys like Des Bryant's and whatnot who re-sign, and you see Tim Tebow not do shit for like 10 years and then come out and get paid more than me, that's the part that I find more interesting. But I mean, it's a topic to talk about, but it's a bunch of fluff in my book.
Yeah, Quinn, question for you. Are you buying or selling the outrage over Tim Tebow being signed and Kaepernick still being without a team?
It don't matter because Kaepernick won't change his position. Tebow at least changed his position to try to make it back, I guess. I don't know. I mean, my question, though, for you coaches, is a 6'2", 235-pound guy going to make it in the NFL as a tight end?
I think my question on the entire thing has been, how's he going to do as a blocker? Because tight ends do have to block.
He's going to get blown up. There's no way.
You think about a J.J. Watt or a Myles Garrett or a Jadeveon Clowney or Aaron Donald across from him. I just don't see how he's going to get that guy blocked. You're definitely going to be requiring a running back or somebody to come over and chip or a double team or something. But who knows? It may turn out better than what we think. All right. The moment everybody's been waiting for. Let's solo Mac out and give him the floor.
I think this is just a terrible hire. I mean, it's mind-blowing that a guy it can leave for 9 years without the NFL, go and try to play baseball. I mean, he was below average baseball player. I mean, that was a joke in itself. This is even a bigger joke that now as a 35-year-old, he's going to come out of not playing for 9 years, learn a whole new position that he's never played in his entire life. And now he's going to be a professional football player. There's just something wrong with this, and how I would rather take a rookie from anywhere. I almost said a school. Anywhere across the country and give him an opportunity over I would give somebody like Tim Tebow. It's just mind blowing. The game. I mean, you're talking about a guy like Pitts who got drafted, who's 6'5" and can run like the wind, and the tight end position's changed so much since he's even been around the game. I seen a thing today where you seen like the last time Tim Tebow was in the league, RG3 won Rookie of the Year, and so on and so forth. Did this, and Paul, will you stop calling me? You know I'm doing the damn show, you idiot. Like, what's wrong with you right now, Paul?
The views expressed by Billy Mack don't necessarily reflect those of YSN.
I'm going to call Paul 25 times the next time he's still ringing. 25 missed calls. Get off the Power Hour and call me back now.
Actually, you should call him while you're on the Power Hour.
You tell me what to do anything.
So here's the question. I mean, we've talked about what some of the shortcomings are and what some of the things that maybe he can't do are. But if we've learned one thing about Tebow with Urban Meyer over the years, it's that Urban knows how to utilize the strengths of players to his advantage. Do you think that he's going to find ways to get him involved in the offense and make a place for him in the NFL?
I mean, maybe he's looking at him to be like a poor man's Taysom Hill. I mean, that's the only thing that I can think of. It's like, hey, you know, he's probably still in shape. Well, compared to all of us, he's definitely in shape. But, you know, hey, I'm going to use him like a poor man's Taysom Hill to where hopefully I can exploit, you know, some mismatches here and there. You know, I can throw him in and, you know, throw him in at quarterback, you know, just different looks and different sets to keep people on their toes. But outside of that, I mean, what else could you do with him? Like you said, I don't see him, you know, blocking Myles Garrett unless he's chop blocking him. I don't see him, you know, cracking back up. Well, that you can't crack really in the NFL, but I don't see him, you know, going up against some of these linebackers. So you're going to have to really innovate how you're going to use them.
Wasn't the knock on Tebow that he couldn't throw anyway? Like that's why he didn't pan out.
I mean, he threw enough to beat Pittsburgh in the playoff game, but
well, yeah, that was a great slant route and catch by Demarius. But I mean, wasn't that the knock on him? Like he couldn't throw and he just didn't pan out because of it.
Yeah, they didn't like his throwing motion was one of the big things. But since
he lifted up his back foot or something.
Since EB invoked the black and gold, I think that's a good time to bring DJ into the conversation and get his thoughts on Tim Tebow joining the Jaguars.
I'm trying to find a spot where, like, I can still get reception and yet it's not windy because this is a giant tundra of wind out here. So I apologize in advance. I mean, I think that the Tim Tebow thing, to have him move positions now when he didn't do it in New England is just, I think it's just a PR stunt. I really do. I think it's a way that Tebow, he can get his name out there again. You know, baseball didn't pan out for him. He's not necessarily the greatest broadcaster. I mean, the dude's just trying to find some relevancy. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. But, you know, good for him. If somebody's willing to give him another shot and he's willing to get a veteran's minimum or whatever they're going to give him, good on him, man. But it's going to be interesting because the dude is going to get popped. I mean, he's going to get popped by some linebackers like he didn't whenever he was a quarterback. So I'm interested to see how that goes.
So my biggest concern with this entire thing is actually away from the field. And that's the fact that, I mean, he's basically in his hometown in Jacksonville. And you know that with a rookie quarterback like Trevor Lawrence, the first time something goes bad, the fans are going to be calling for Tebow to go in at quarterback. And I think that you're just opening yourself up to a whole bunch of, you know, terrible scenarios with a lot of terrible PR.
No way, man. Because that's kind of like the pot calling the kettle black. Because if something goes wrong with Trevor Lawrence or he comes out and he you know, stinks the place up the first couple games or whatever, and you're going to sit there and say, well, you have Tebow, throw him in and see, it can't be any worse. Where the hell were you the other 10 years?
Yeah.
So, you know, you can't say you want it this way, and then all of a sudden, you know, you're bashing him because he's coming in as a tight end, but then all of a sudden you're going to be like, hey, I want him as a quarterback.
Yeah.
Like, that just doesn't make sense to me.
Well, and I don't think it's an organizational thing. I think it's going to be the fans that are going to be doing it. You're going to have an entire Tim Tebow section in that stadium down there because it's so close to where he grew up and his family and where he played college football. And, you know, like it or not, Tim Tebow is still a legend in Florida football.
Exactly. Florida University football, not National Football League football.
DJ,
your lips are moving, but nothing is coming out.
Go ahead. I got you.
Why didn't they do this last year? What was the issue last year where they couldn't bring Tebow in? If they really wanted him to play quarterback, where was this cat last year? He was
trying to
hitting
make the Mets
baseball
a
for.
playoff team.
He wasn't on the Mets playoff run, and the Mets didn't make the playoffs. Did they?
I don't think so. I don't think he even got on a AAA.
He's never been in the major leagues before.
Yeah.
I mean, like what are the from a PR standpoint? The more I think about it, I'm going to contradict myself here. What the hell are they doing? Like, you're right, Matt. They're going to look at this, and if Trevor Lawrence, things go bad for him, there's going to be a group of people that start. Well, where's Tebow? Let Tebow. There's going to be plays in there for Tim Tebow to throw the football around, but he wasn't good enough for the Broncos. He wasn't good enough for the Patriots. He's not good enough for the Jaguars. He's not a professional quarterback. He is a hybrid, all-time great in college.
Yep.
That's your legacy, dude. That's your legacy. You're not great at baseball. You're a great athlete. And, if you're a female out there, you love what he looks like with his shirt off too. But let's be real. That's all he is anymore. He's a model.
Yeah. And
How hard is that?
So I started thinking about it last night, and it makes sense that they're signing him as a tight end because right now the position of tight end is paid less than a wide receiver, less than a running back. It's an interesting spot on the pay scale for teams to bring players in at. So I think they're signing him as a tight end, but I think that Urban Meyer's kind of got designs on using him as more of an H-back.
Coach, how hard is that to plan for, like bringing in him to be a quarterback at times because he's left-handed?
Yeah, I mean, it can definitely be different, and it's just a different, set of circumstances to prepare for. I think more from the cornerback and safety standpoint, if he is going to throw the ball, you're looking at the reads are a little bit different for a left-handed quarterback than they are for a right-handed quarterback.
Trevor Lawrence not left-handed?
Mm-mm.
No, he's right.
He's right-handed.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought he was, but okay, nonetheless, carry on.
But
offensively though, for your line.
So it's not that different for the line, honestly. Blocking schemes are still basically the same. There's not a whole lot of difference for the offensive line.
No.
Why are we discussing
He better
Tebow
not
as a
end up in
quarterback?
professional wrestling.
What's
Oh
that?
my God, he'd be like Jason
Because he's
Snake.
not going to be a tight end. He's not going to be a tight end. There's no way. There's no way. You can't go all those years of playing quarterback in a system, and then you're going to tell me you're going to move. Like, he is a small tight end, a very small tight end.
Yeah.
He's going to get bullied as a tight end.
Yeah,
Which is why I
ran
think
over.
They're going to look at him like Taysom Hill,
Yeah.
utilize him in certain packages or red zone
You
packages.
just drafted with the first overall pick to play quarterback. They talked about the surefire lock, the best since Andrew Luck, and then like some of the greatest of all time first overall picks. And then you sign Tebow, and you're going to use him as a wildcat or certain packages. Like, you just got the guy you wanted. The NFL experts have all said, this is the guy. He's never lost a high school game. He's never lost a college game. Like, this is the guy. And you're going to tell me you're going to draft.
I truly think, like DJ said, though, it's a PR stunt because it's going to sell tickets.
That's exactly. Yeah,
It's marketing.
Well, how about this one? Like, you look at this from Trevor Lawrence's standpoint. You go, wait a minute. I'm the number one overall draft pick. You're supposed to protect me and give me weapons, and you give me a washed-up college quarterback / hybrid as a tight end. Like, who is he going to block? Tell me one guy he's going to block in the NFL, and I'll tell you one guy that needs to be cut from a roster.
Yeah, right. I mean, exactly. A 35-year-old who hasn't played since 2012. Like, no, it just doesn't. It doesn't make any sense to me. The only way it makes sense is because it's Urban Meyer, and he's doing one of his favorite players solid. That's it.
Well, that's great, but he had time to do that with all of his players. Like let him come on and be an advocate for Ohio State. Let him be a quarterback coach for Ohio State. Listen, the guy is arguably the greatest college quarterback ever. He knows how to get it done in the NCAA. Why is he? First off, I think this dude's just got multiple personalities or something. Because he's not Bo Jackson. He's not that good at baseball. For him, I mean, he didn't even play baseball in college. and he's going to be in the minor league system taking somebody's spot. That's when I really didn't like Tebow. But now he's going to take another professional spot on the roster. Like, you look at the Jaguars organization, and we knew they were just a train wreck. But now you bring this guy in instead of a professional tight end, and whether he makes the roster or not, he's taking up somebody's spot in training camp and in the weight room that needs to be getting those reps in. It's a joke. The Jaguars are a joke, and I hope they never win a game the rest of the way.
So the other interesting thing is, I wonder if they're not starting to put some familiar faces together on this team, with the thought being that, you know, there's been talk of it for a while now that the Jaguars might move to London at some point. Does that make more sense with this kind of a move?
No,
they'll never get free agents if that happens. NFL players do not want to live in and they just don't.
This is for ticket sales. I mean, this is 100% for ticket sales, because otherwise, why didn't the other 31 teams look at Tim Tebow as a tight end? Or let him kick. I don't care. Like, what? Why? It's for ticket sales. That's 100% what it is, because I think they were waiting, and this is the only thing that makes sense to me, because the draft is 2 weeks ago. They thought there'd be a giant spike in ticket sales, and I don't think there was. And they're in Florida, so they're willing to fill that stadium up, right? So I don't think that ticket sales went the way that they wanted them to go.
You know, I don't even know. To me, he's not even like that big of a bang to get those types of ticket sales, right? Because like if he was coming in to maybe play quarterback like before he left to decide to be a Major League Baseball player, I think that would have made a bigger impact on ticket sales than missing out for 9 years and then coming back now to be a tight end.
He's still a draw in that area, though, and it's, you know, it's the nostalgia of, it's Tim Tebow, and remember when he was at Florida, and that's the draw. And that's,
to me, there's got to be no chance he makes the actual roster for the season.
And that was going to be the next interesting point. And Will kind of made it in the comment box too, saying that he doesn't think he'll make the roster. I think there's a chance he doesn't make the roster, because the game has changed with tight ends especially. And, you know, to DJ's point, he's a severely undersized tight end in the National Football League.
Not only that, I mean, not just size-wise, but look at the number one tight end picked in the draft this year, Pitts.
Yep.
You think Tebow's keeping up speed-wise, matchup-wise? You know, the dude's 35 now.
Yeah.
So not only just like physical attributes, but the speed, the agility. You know, the way that he's going to have to learn how to use his body just to go after the ball. You know, just being matched up on some of these linebackers. I mean, look at the linebacker that Dallas picked up, who runs like a 4.39. Is Tebow gonna outrun him, or, you know, this dude's gonna be like, all right, dude. I mean, you can pray that I slow down, but I ain't gonna slow down. It's you know, that's just some of the things.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to keep an eye on the Jacksonville situation. And I think, I mean, has anybody heard, have they announced who's going to be on Hard Knocks this year yet? I haven't heard an announcement. So I know that you can opt out of Hard Knocks if you've got a first-year head coach, but I almost kind of want to see the Jacksonville Jaguars on Hard Knocks this year, just to kind of follow this one through training camp.
I don't even know if I've ever watched a Hard Knocks, to be honest. Like, I'm not interested in anything Hard Knocks related.
I guess maybe it's for the football junkies.
I'd rather them bring back playmakers, and we all remember that when we were in school. They bring that back. I'm here for that.
Yeah. So, hey, why don't we this is probably a good time to take a break and pay some bills. But when we come back, I've got an interesting question for you guys about sports ownership and packages of people putting together to potentially buy some teams, and maybe a little bit about the changes with the Columbus Crew as well. And then obviously we'll wrap up at some point today with our G. Burbick Farms, What's Your Beef, What's Your Filet?
Take us a break, Quinn.
Yeah, Quinn.
Break it down. We're not breaking, Quinn.
Are we efforting?
We're not
not
breaking, Quinn.
New things happen all day. Some are good, some not so good. In today's complicated world, while you're busy working, playing, and living life, we're busy helping you make sense of the day's news. And there's only one place where it comes together with clarity, context, and accountability. It's 21 News at 6 with me, Madison Tromler, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 6. It's what the day's news really means to you.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends, shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Hi, this is Jim Myers with Myers Family Insurance, your local Medicare and retirement resource. We're excited to have sports back. Whether you're on the field or cheering from the stands, sports unifies communities and brings hope for the future. We're all one team working together. At Myers Family Insurance, we know the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is October 15th through December 7th. Now's the time to make sure your plan continues to meet your needs for the upcoming year.
Call today.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa. And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing. Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships. We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team. Your goals, our game plan. Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Welcome back into the Power Hour on Tuesday the 11th here. Guys, coming back out of break, Billy, first thing I want to do is, do you have the rundown in front of you for today's games? Because it is a banner day for the network. I think, 14 games on the network today?
Ready?
Let's hit it.
All right. So we have first on the list is Jefferson versus Struthers tennis matchup, and that's going on right now as we speak at 3:30. 4:15, DJ's out here at Mohawk versus Elwood for a baseball matchup. And 5 o'clock starts off some baseball and some softball games. Boardman versus Warren Harding. Cardinal Mooney versus Liberty. That is a playoff game for softball. Heartland Christian versus Malvern. That's a baseball game. And baseball for Hubbard versus Poland. And softball action, playoff action, is LeBray versus Kirkland. And then I think Anthony will have that game. I'm pretty sure Anthony has that game. Liberty versus Brookfield baseball. Lowville versus Warren JFK for a softball matchup. West Branch versus Ravenna, another playoff softball matchup. And a big one out there, West Branch versus Salem. Richie's going to be there. Coach, you said you're going to maybe try to sneak into the press box there for the West Branch-Salem baseball matchup. And you said that's also for the league championship, right?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to at least sneak into the stadium and catch a little bit of that game, because I think that one is slated to be a heck of a matchup. Going to play each other twice here this week for the EBC championship. Played each other in basketball for the EBC championship. I think they played each other in football for the EBC championship. So it's the year of the Quakers and the Warriors in the EBC, and I think that theme. Yeah, I think there's they're two good teams that I'm really excited to see how they match up with each other.
Yeah, I hope you get a Cunningham Rhodes matchup, and that would be a pretty good pitching duel to be a part of if that indeed is the case. Another game softball I'll be at tonight is Ursuline versus Campbell and Ursuline versus Springfield for baseball. And finally tonight at 7 o'clock on Scene 1 is Cardinal Mooney versus East baseball. And that game will be underneath the lights. And that is it for the rundown.
So just to catch you up real quick, Will Cunningham, who I would consider to be a very reliable source, mentions down there in the chat box that tomorrow will be Rhodes versus Cunningham in Salem. So that's definitely going to be a must-watch matchup, but probably see a little more offense today with the ones going tomorrow. DJ, do you want to fill us in on a little bit about your game today?
I can try. I don't know if you can hear me over the wind. I'm trying to get it tampered down, but Elwood City versus Mohawk. It's a battle for the 2 and 3 spots in their playoffs. So it's going to be interesting to see. Cooper Vance threw last night, so that's Mohawk's number 1. That's their go-to guy. So you're going to see Mohawks 2 going against Elwood's number 1. Excited to see this. I mean, these are two teams with a lot of history. There's not a whole lot of love lost for each other here either. So exciting to see, exciting to watch, and a little Keystone baseball for everybody on the network. So that all kicks off at about 4:15. So I'm probably going to bounce here in about 5
minutes. Yeah, I know you've got an early start today, but I'm looking forward to, just as we continue to do more Mohawk games and bring on some more Western PA schools, getting to know, some of those programs and some of that baseball out that way and all their sports really. We've kind of stayed inside of our own little Mahoning Valley bubble for a while here. But it's going to be nice to branch out and kind of meet some of those players and some of those teams. I know they're nutty about their sports over there in Western PA, just like we are here. So, guys, EB, are there any matchups on the docket there that really stand out to you as ones that you're interested in checking out tonight?
I mean, naturally, it's always going to be Salem West Branch. I don't care. Softball, baseball, basketball, volleyball, football, whatever it is, it's the rival, especially in the EBC, especially like you kind of mentioned this year, they're in the thick for everything. They have implications for every league title, and it's I don't want to say it's bad blood, but it's bad blood. It's you don't like the the green team, more or less, and I say that being a Salem coach, it's not that the respect isn't there. Both schools definitely respect what each one does, but you definitely want to beat the hell out of one another too.
No, for sure. Billy, you mentioned you've got a game tonight. Why don't you fill us in on who you're going to see?
Well, I'm going to see Ursuline versus Camel tonight, and it was more last night. I got an opportunity to do some things. We finally got Edison softball, and it was a 10-0 game over Barnesville. I had I got to see a little bit of everything. One hitter. I had 13 strikeouts. That was Katie Flew-Hardy. She pitched a great game, and Audrey Scott in the first inning came up and 0-2 count. And she hit just a rocket that just. I don't even know if it's landed yet. I mean, she hit the hell out of that, and it was off to the races. I mean, I think it was the 4th inning where Edison started to second, third time around the order, kind of picked up its pace. But tonight we're going to see Ursuline. I mean, I expect Ursuline to play a good game, and Campbell is still trying to, figure a couple things out and trying to get into building that program over there. Has a hard task tonight against an Ursuline team who is probably going to be playing a little pissed off since they lost over the weekend. So I would imagine that this is a game that Ursuline is not overlooking. It's playoff softball, and they have high expectations for themselves, and they need to clean up some things, and they're going to try to do that tonight.
And speaking of Ursuline's frustrations from over the weekend, I got to go out and check out the Lady Leopards last night as they took on the Canton McKinley Bulldogs in the first round of the sectional tournament here. And, wow, they impressed for sure. They jumped out to an early 6-1 lead and ended up winning the game by, I think, a final score of 17 or 18-2 in 5 innings, and really just dismantled that Canton McKinley team. Who had some pretty decent players. I was pretty impressed that they had some talent on that team. But Louisville, taking care of business, and I think that it seems to me that Louisville's just clicking at the right time now.
Okay, all right. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but there's
things that sorry.
So I'm preparing for my game tonight for Ursuline. All right, so I'm going over just some stats that they got. I just want to read you these stats, okay? They're 20-1, okay? Well, 20 wins, 1 defeat, and RBI, so total runs this year, 194.
Wow.
194 runs this year, and they got 30 home runs. Now, I want you to realize, like, this isn't some rinky-dink place they play at. They play at Youngstown State University, their home field, and they're hitting nukes out of there. Like, I'm excited to see how far that they can. I
think you need to start making your home run calls and just call it Dogecoin to the moon.
You know, let me say something. I had last night. It was probably one of the worst home run calls I've ever had, because I had no idea if it was gone. I just knew I couldn't see it. So I'm like, because the sun's in my face. So I'm like, and that is, yeah, that's gone. Okay.
I had one of those last night too, because I was in a similar situation. The sun was coming right at me, and the ball gets hit, and I'm, it's a swing, it's a drive, it's way back, it's the umpire says it's gone.
And normally Quinn does a lot of games with me, and normally he's like there going, that was terrible, and I can just hear him like next to me, and I'm going, yeah, I know, Quinn, that wasn't good.
So
well, now he wants to pop back on.
Listen, the Wi-Fi's a disaster. I don't know what's going on.
So we've got a bunch of action on the network tonight. Be sure to tune in and check it out and support your favorite team. I think what would we decide? 14 games on the network tonight. So correct. Just a huge night of baseball and softball, and obviously with tournament action on, a lot to be excited about right now in YS Nation. So, guys, the topic I wanted to get to is, and we talked a little bit about it earlier, but I woke up this morning and I saw a tweet come across that said Conor McGregor says that he could do big things with Manchester United. And my initial thought was, is Conor McGregor trying to play soccer now? And I read on and found out that he's actually trying to form an ownership group that would buy Manchester United. So the question it triggered in my mind was, I want to ask each one of you guys, and we'll start with Quinn. If you could buy any franchise in professional sports, what franchise would you buy and why?
The Dallas Cowboys, because they are worth a ton of money. And if you can make them actually good in the Super Bowl team again, you'll be a legend.
I think that's fair. EB, since that's your team, let's go to you.
You asked that, and naturally I'd go to the Cowboys, but that's because I know they're worth $5 billion. Yeah. And then you trickle down, you go Yankees and whatnot. But I think I would probably go a smaller market team where you have a higher dividend of on your ROI.
Yeah.
Especially if you can take someone and put them into, I look at the Golden State Warriors, in the 80s, 90s, or early 2000s, when they really weren't what they were now, and now they're
DJ chiming in.
I'm so pissed that you showed his thing first.
But
I'm so upset.
I think we'll take the Pirates. If you buy someone like the Pirates and you get some stability in the front office, and you start to keep some of these players and realize that hey, you're going to have to spend a little money, and you're going to start to see it more on the back end. Your return on the investment, especially in a city like Pittsburgh, where you have ultimately one of the best ballparks, you have a sports crazed, fanatic fan base. You could do crazy big things with how much money you could make. If I wanted to take the easy route, then I'd definitely say Dallas Cowboys. And you put something together, you go win a Super Bowl, you're going to be an instant billionaire. But if you want more of the challenge, you go Pirates and see what you can do.
Mac, you're mad, and I have a feeling there's a good reason behind it, so I'm interested to hear your take.
Yeah. So I really wanted to say I'd buy the Pirates, and then I would basically what I would do. The first thing I would do is move them to Montreal and become the Expos, so I can get rid of the Pittsburgh Pirates. So that way, like people like DJ don't have to go through misery no more. They just be done. They can just be done with it. Be like, well, I guess I just root for somebody else because the Pirates are gone. There's no more team in baseball for Pittsburgh. So that would be my first instinct. But if you were to take a team like Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Milwaukee, some of these small teams, and like Eric said, build them up into like a powerhouse or even a small window like Tampa Bay's done in the last few years. But anything in Florida stinks for baseball. Like fans don't attend. It's too hot. They don't want to sit out there in the sun at 95-degree weather every single day. Okay. Up north, they'll do it more. So that would be pretty cool to finally take the Indians to a World Series and win and build that team like we had in the 90s or, as like in the 1930s for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
So things move fast here at the network, and DJ announcing that in honor of Tim Tebow, we've added a 15th game today, and we'll be at Louisville as well. So 15 games tonight on the network. But getting back to the topic at hand, you guys all kind of went the business route with this, and I kind of went the fanatic route with this. And my thought was take a team that you hate, buy them, and run them completely into the ground and just destroy them so that your team's better in the long run for it. So
that's probably why Dan Gilbert lives in Detroit. No, it's Cleveland. So
right. So naturally, as a Browns fan, I would want to buy the Pittsburgh Steelers and just make all of the wrong moves and make them suffer through everything that Cleveland suffered through since 1999.
Well,
I would appreciate you losing
someone did that
like
to Cleveland, and his name was Art Modell.
Yeah. He did. Yes. Yeah. Yep. And he's never been welcomed back ever.
Wow. When people purposely go to his grave to piss on it, it's not because you're that special to someone.
No, you're right. Pirates have less strikeouts and errors than Tatis. Billy Mack, I think that's a shot at you. Would you care to respond?
It doesn't matter.
So what do you guys think, before we get to our G. Burbick Farms, what's your beef, what's your filet, what do you guys think about Conor McGregor as an owner? Do you think it'd be a successful situation?
No.
He puts the right people around him, yeah. I mean, he sells.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to is he's probably looking at it, if I had to think, like, hey, let me be the face. You guys take care of all the nitty-gritty stuff, the stuff behind the scenes. Let me be the face. Let me be the PR guy. It's going to generate sales. It's going to generate interest. It's going to generate sponsorships. I can bring in whatever I have, my Irish whiskey, and people are going to sit here and jump in on it that way.
He's buying the
don't they
soccer team in the world.
I would agree with that, Eric, if it was like an MLS team, right? But like it's one of the top 5 franchises in the entire world, correct? Like it doesn't matter what sport. So like, that would be they're already up there. My issue with it is that he's an emotional hothead, right? So it kind of reminds me of like the Dallas Mavericks owner. Like,
he's Mark Cuban.
Which is why I shouldn't own a team. I should never own a team. Because I'd be like, you're fired, you're fired, you're fired. Get the hell out. Bring me a whole new team. Baker, bye. I traded you for some puppy chow. Like, get out of here. I don't know if he would be good for it. I think, yes, he would bring – if it wasn't that team, I think like an MLS team, he would be great with it because he would bring – a lot of excitement and all that stuff that you mentioned before. But with Manchester, I don't know. I think he might get run out of. If they start losing, he'll get run out. He'll be like Art Modell with the Browns.
I get what you're saying, and I guess for Conor's sake, I think what he's trying to do, like the idea is right. It's just the wrong avenue. If I was Conor McGregor and I was like, look, you want to make some money and you want to build up a brand, go to professional wrestling. Because people will hop on that shit like, flies on shit.
Oh, look at the success that Ronda Rousey had.
Right. You go to something, that avenue, to where you can actually market and brand your own stuff and then you can really take bringing your own brands in and use it that way. That's probably a better avenue, or a smaller market like MLS, because it's not as big as it is over in Europe and whatnot. Something of that center, or do something to where you understand the ring, so make it to where it's not going to be equal, but it's going to help. That would be my avenue. I guess I see what he's saying and he's trying to do, but it's just the wrong sport, more or less.
Who would you rather have as your owner?
Why doesn't he try to be like Mayweather for UFC? Like, Mayweather makes so much money, and he's making more money off of the fighters for the future with his name and his brand and that TBT. Like, he should take or whatever it is, and he should be looking at. Yeah, he should be looking at that and going, I need to do that here. Because he's already done business with Mayweather. Like, they're not as enemies as they once said they were. They were selling tickets and pay-per-view sales.
Look, bud, you make me $20 million. I ain't going to be too mad at you, bud. I don't care how many times.
I might even let you punch me in the face a couple times.
Right.
Like, hey.
Look, you can hit me in the shin with one of those little annoying scooters for $20 million. But
right.
It's...
Tell you what, you guys make $20 million on a AAU game, and we'll give you both a medal for that.
I got some.
I think if we made $20 million, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
So that's going to do it for the regular portion of our show. But now it's time to end the show the way we do every day, and that's with our G. Burbick Farms. What's your filet? What's your beef? If you're new to the show, this is where we talk about what our beef is for the day, what we've got a problem with, or something that has gone really well for us today, and that'll be your filet. So why don't we kick it off today with Quinn? What's your beef? What's your filet? Oh, actually, we're going to kick it off with DJ in the comments. He says, my beef today is people borrowing my stuff and not returning them charged or missing. Heads are going to roll. Hashtag G. Burbick Farms beef. Hashtag moo. I don't think I want to be the person that returned DJ's stuff uncharged. So
listen, this is rule number 1, right?
Yep.
Don't touch DJ's shit.
Yep.
Like, just don't, like, hey, I'm good. I'm good, bro. Like,
I'll figure it out on
you know
that.
how many occasions, like things have been returned to DJ, not in the right bag, not in the right place, not charged. Hey, let's go to Troy and not have XYZ. Like, all kinds of stuff, man. Like, if you're in a YSN person, don't borrow his stuff. Better off for you. Telling you
in
right
fact,
now.
when you even help him clean up, just set it on the table and let him put it where he wants to put it.
Yeah, just cheer him on from the sidelines. Like, hey, that's a great job putting that in there, man. Like, just leave his stuff alone.
So Quinn, we'll get to your beef, but the first time I ever did a game with DJ, I was like, how can I help when we were starting to clean up and tear down? And he was like, honestly, love you, coach, but just don't. Yeah. Just let me do it. And I was like, okay, good, cool, got it. So, Quinn, what's your beef? What's your filet? You're up.
Beef today. One, my internet is the main one. It's the internet. I've never had that problem. I've never had the internet problem except for when I was sitting next to Billy on that couch, and it got me today. I don't know what's going on. The internet's terrible.
So, the only other time you've ever had problems was when you were on Billy's casting couch. We've got it.
For this show, yeah.
So, Mac, what's your beef? What's your filet?
Well, my filet was really doing the game last night at Edison. It was nice to get out there. I had some issues with some internet, and we knew that kind of going into it, so we were prepared. At least I was prepared. I brought the Verizon, the AT&T. They had a hotspot down there from the bus. We couldn't get any of that, but we were eventually able to get it going, after hours. So about 8, we were prime time. I guess my game was considered prime time, so 8 o'clock. My beef today is just Tim Tebow. I just think he's making a mockery of the game. I just don't like it. Urban Meyer's in that mix as well. I really don't like this Tebow signing at all. It just doesn't make any sense to me, but it makes sense to one person, and that's Tim Tebow, because he's getting a payday out of it.
No, I think that's a fair point. EB, you're up.
So my beef, and this is why you go to G. Burbick Farms for beef. is chicken wings.
Ooh.
Chicken wings is my beef. The other meat, the white meat. The price of like chicken wings is astronomical right now. Like this stuff, and my friend owns a restaurant. She's like, yeah, it went from like $100 of a 40-pound box to like over 200. So now the chicken wings are like yay big, and they are astronomically priced. So there's zero bang for your buck. And I know it's super petty, but then as soon as I saw all that, I was like, well, this is just going to put a damper, even though we've been working on it and talking about it for a while now, is winging it with Billy and I. So now we're going to have to, maybe we just need to go find who has the biggest chicken wings and go about it that way. But my beef is chicken wings.
So there you go.
I had chicken wings today for lunch at Poorhouse with Quinn.
Thanks for the invite, Dick.
Not a sponsor yet, Billy. And I was going to say, there you go. If you're a chicken wing company or a restaurant that has the best chicken wings and you want to get yourself advertised and maybe get EB down there for a in-person appearance, don't be afraid to hit us up. We've got advertising spots available. But
me and Billy want to come wing it with you.
Yeah,
there's
a couple things you need though. You got to have good wings, good sauce, and good cold beer.
Good cold beer is key. Absolutely. So I'm going to go with a beef today, and my beef is sports owners that decide that they're going to come in and mess with a good thing. So if you didn't see it, the Columbus Crew have decided that they are going to rebrand themselves and drop the crew name, and they're just going to be Columbus SC from now on in. So Columbus Soccer Club. And they're changing some of the color scheme from the black and the yellow, and they're just doing all kinds of stuff. I mean, you just won the MLS Cup, and now you're going to make all these changes to try and be more like the European clubs that are out there. Just leave it alone. Stop messing with a good thing. Haslam's, we love the fact that you saved the franchise and kept it here instead of moving to Texas, but stop trying to tinker with something that's already working.
Maybe they'll change the Browns' name.
I think there might be riots if that happened. Hey, Mo chiming in.
Because of the great winning tradition that we've accrued over our experience as Browns fans. Like, get out of here.
Cleveland Football Club. I love it.
Right.
Sounds better than the Browns.
True.
So that's going to do it for the Power Hour today. Thanks, everybody, for chiming in. Thanks, Mac, for being here. Thanks, EB. Thanks, DJ, for tuning in from the road. Thanks to Quinn for running the board. And thanks to everybody that commented today. Really couldn't make the show go without you guys in the comment box. And especially a big thank you to all of our sponsors who make this possible. Enjoy the games tonight. And that's going to wrap it up for us. So, Quinn, wave the flag.